Hi guys, and welcome back to Birmingham Fan TV. This is your Stoke match review, guys, and it feels so good to be getting back in front of the camera with a win. It was good. It's good to get the win. I'm not gonna lie. You can't really moan about 3 points. You know what I mean? How can you? But we are going to dissect the performance, which again was a bit of a topsy-turvy one. Before we do get into it, don't forget to like the video, guys. If you could drop that like down below. Comment your thoughts. I know that social media has been a little bit rife with opinions recently, but we'll get into a few of those in just a moment. So let me know your thoughts on who stood out for you, who was man of the match, key players for the game, what you thought about the overall 90, whether you thought, like myself, it was a bit of a topsy-turvy performance. And don't forget to subscribe, guys, down below. We are heading into the international break now, and we're going to try and do a few videos over the international break, looking at some of the key players early on from this season, looking over some of the key moments and where Blues need to do some improvements going forward, shall we say. But let's get into it anyway. So Blues lined up with a changed lineup. I debated whether it be 5 or 4 at the back. I did think he'd stick with the 5, but I was hoping for the 4. He did go with the 4 in the end. So the lineup was Camp in goal. Colin came back in at right back, which I thought was a little bit harsh on Wes. But it's hard to keep a player of Max's quality out of the side. Dean and Roberts were the centre halves, and I think Mark Roberts has been absolutely outstanding this season for Birmingham City. And Christian Pedersen back at left back, where he feels a little bit more comfortable by the sounds of it. Across the midfield, we had a midfield 4 of Villalba out on the left hand. On the right hand side. Sorry, Montero out on the left, Davis and Sunic in the middle, with Duke and Jimenez up front. Now, I was very pleased with the starting lineup. I thought it would be a back 5 with Montero playing as a left wing back when I first saw it. So apologies for that one. That's what I thought he would go with, as I thought that's what Montero was brought in to do. Be a little bit more of an attacking option down that left. But clearly, no, he felt that the 4 at the back was going to be more effective in this game. And so, yeah, I couldn't really moan with any of the lineup, to be honest. I thought he picked the right team again. I think he picked the right personnel in the right positions. It wasn't exactly square pegs in round holes. I thought he did pretty well with that one. But it was a pretty turgid affair, to be honest. And, you know, we'll break it up into the first 45. I thought it was terrible. First 45 minutes was as poor a first half as I've seen down St Andrews in many a year. That goes for both sides as well. Stoke were pretty poor as well. Neither team had anything going forward, I thought. While Stoke kept the ball much better than us, which I expected because that's Nathan Jones' style of play. He likes to keep the ball. They want to see a little bit more of the ball. And it annoys me that Blues won't take the tempo and won't take the game to Stoke. That was annoying, and we haven't really done it at all this season at home, apart from against Bristol City, which for me was actually our best performance of the season. But, you know, hey-ho, we get into half-time 0-0. One thing from the first half was Jefferson Montero. We lost him after about 25 minutes. Pulled up, looked like a quad muscle or the top of his thigh. That's disappointing, but we were pre-warned, so we can't say we didn't expect it. Swansea fans said, you know, if you look at him, he's a Premier League calibre of player, but you can't keep him fit, so what's the point? And I think it's incredibly frustrating. We watched him against Barnsley, and he lit the game up. He was a class above. The amount of times he beat his man and put a decent ball into the box was really pleasing. He didn't look as sharp in the opening 25. Clearly, I think he was struggling anyway. And then he finally pulled up. Let's fingers crossed hope that one isn't as bad as it seems. But ultimately, I think, you know, a 0-0 was a fair point at the half-time mark. I think that, yeah, most of us were happy to hear the half-time whistle. It was really bad. You know, one thing was to bring Bellingham on, which was great to see him make his home league debut, which was tremendous for not just him, but for the whole fan base. It was an absolutely massive lift and great to see him out on the pitch. And then the second half, I thought, wasn't much better. We opened the half up a little bit better, maybe the first 7 or 8 minutes of the second half. We maybe moved the ball a little bit quicker across the final third. I thought the fullbacks pushed up a little bit more, which again, I'm going to point out for like the 7th or 8th game in a row, the fullbacks are so deep. I don't understand why they won't get forward. Last season, how many times did Maxime Collin get on the overlap of Hotter and cause problems? This year, and we know it's not Max, it's the system. Why is he so deep? Why will he not burst past? And when he did burst past in the second half, we scored. So it makes no sense to me why the fullbacks are still sitting so deep, especially against a team lacking in confidence like Stoke. Yes, they have quality, but they're on their feet. They didn't look great. I thought again, second half, we'd have took the impetus to them and got going. We didn't. And then we concede. It was a sloppy free kick to give away. Whipped in. It was a great ball, to be fair. Whipped right across the line of the defence. I think Pedersen lost his man at the back post, and Lindsay taps home from about 2 yards out. Not much that Camp could have done about that one. If he'd have pulled off a save, it would have been phenomenal. So yeah, and I think that there was a few mumbles and grumbles around the ground after that one. I think most people were in agreement that the game looked pretty dead and buried. It looked poor, and it didn't look like we were going to score. And all of a sudden, we woke up. He brought Crowley on, who completely changed the game. I thought Villalba was quite poor yesterday, not to be negative, but he was poor. There's no hiding away from that one. I think, it's not him. I think he possesses so much ability, but he needs to get into games a little bit more. And that wasn't the game for him. And I don't think he suits playing in the number 10 role. He seems to play better coming in off that left-hand side than he does down the middle. So we'll see. I'm sure he's going to try and find a system that suits him. Maybe play him in a 4-2-3-1 off the left-hand side with Crowley in the middle. Magoma and Marabti are still to come back. I know Marabti was on the bench yesterday. But yeah, Crowley sparked the game into life. I thought that he was absolutely excellent. And so proved. And, tidy little bit of 1-2 in the midfield. About, I think it was the 72nd minute. Plays a great 1-2 with Davis. Then Davis gets the ball out in the middle, plays an outside the boot ball to the right-hand side. Colin whips it in, and obviously the outcome when the ball's hung up to the back post. Lukas Jukovic arriving, heads it down into the ground and hits the roof of the net. 1-1. And I thought, to be fair, after their goal, I thought that we looked much better in terms of tempo, in terms of a little bit more urgency. And it proved, and, kick off, and we got the ball back, and Camp punts a long ball up. Davis wins the second ball in midfield. Bellingham picks up that ball, drives at the defence, and a lucky deflected shot, but it goes in, and all credit to him. He's not a right midfielder, played very well yesterday, and fully what he deserves for the start of the season he's made, especially in the cup competitions and coming off the bench. I think that the kid is a superstar. So level-headed, so grounded, so mature. There's so much to come from him, and being a Blues lad himself makes it all that more special. And the celebrations were so Blues. Fans on the pitch, it was great. And then after that, I felt comfortable. To be honest, I didn't feel like we were going to lose that game. Stoke died. They were on their feet after that one. I expected more from them, especially with the quality they've got and the quality on the bench that they had. While they can keep the ball very well, yes, I agree. They don't seem to have that spark in the final third. I thought they'd get towards sort of midway inside our half, and they kind of died. It was surprising, but Blues, yeah, I don't think most of us would have been happy with that first 65 minutes, and had the game finished there, there'd have been some anger. But the second 25, much better, and dead happy to come away with the 3 points. We'll put a few stats down below for you guys, and we'll put some of your comments from social media down below. Don't forget to go and follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram to get your comments in for the next one. But yeah, I want to talk quickly about David Davis. I know I put a tweet out, would have been this morning when it goes out, Sunday morning. Some of his statistics, I think he had the best pass completion, the most passes in the final third, most passes in the game for Blues, joint most tackles, one with Pedersen. David Davis splits opinions. Let's get that straight. David Davis is a hot or cold player. One game, he can be the best player on the pitch for some reason. Not the most technically gifted, but he gives 100%, gets stuck in and actually surprises a few. And then the next game is tosh. He's terrible. I thought yesterday and Bristol City and Forest in spells, he's been one of our better players. Now, okay, not everyone's going to agree with that, and that's the beauty of football. It's an opinions game, but the stats don't lie. He's having good games. And for people to be singling him out, I think the only reason we would put that one out is to prove that it's a little bit harsh. Okay, Davis, in an ideal world, will probably be replaced by somebody a little technically better. But he's been at the club 5 years. He cares. He's got heart, and he's adapting to a passing philosophy of game that, in such a short space of time, I think he's showing the most progression into this system. So you've got to give the guy credit where credit's due, and he's still doing his defensive duties with the tackles. With the interceptions. And while Sunic is also doing the interceptions, he didn't quite have as many yesterday, but those two in the middle are massive for us. I think they've been some of our best performers this season. People need to lay off Davis. Didn't see that much against Villalba yesterday, but he was terrible. So easy on Davis, guys. Some games he's not in the game and he deserves to be taken off. But yesterday, lay off him, nice and easy. Onto a positive one though, Jude Bellingham. What a performance. I thought that he showed no fear. He was brave when he got on the ball. He looked to drive at his man. He drove inside. He beat his man several times. And the goal was nothing more than he deserves, obviously, to be called in to the action unexpectedly. To be played slightly out of position. Yes, he can play there. He has the pace, the ability. But it was a great performance from him. And the goal is nothing more than he deserves. A special shout out to Jimenez as well. I thought Alvaro Jimenez yesterday was really, really, really good. Worked his socks off. Showed great technique at times. First touch. He beat his man several times. A couple of good passes in there. I think that Jimenez deserves a lot of credit up there. And obviously we don't need to mention about Duke. He does it every single game. His work rate is tireless. He wins those headers. He battles for everything. We just need to show more quality and composure on the ball. If we're going to be a team that shows no fear and and to dominate games at home, we need to... Okay, the punt works sometimes, and yes, sometimes you have to get it out. You can't play out from the back, but we need to be braver. We need to be better on the ball. And okay, I'm willing to give it time. I am willing to give it time, but we need to start seeing it after the international break. They've got 2 weeks now to work on things and to become more cohesive, because not many of those players are going to go out on international break, so it's pretty much a full squad. Be good to get Magoma back after the international break. Marabti was on the bench yesterday. He'll be a great option off the bench. So we'll see where we go from here, but 10 points out of a possible 18 is an incredibly good start, I think, for Blues. Tough games coming up after the international break, but I'm sure that we can try and pull together. If we can get a point at Charlton, be really, really happy. But overall, to be joint 6th, I think we're in 9th place at the minute. I'll put the table up on the right-hand side for you guys. Joint 6th. We're winning games, not well, but we're winning games. Shows a good mentality within the squad, and I think that's key. We're not going to go down this season, but if we're to make a push for the top half, we need to perform slightly better. But no arguments from me. A win yesterday, 3 wins, 1 draw, 2 defeats is not a bad start to the season, guys. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Are you happy with that? Was you happy? Thoughts on the performance? Am I wrong? Am I right with the first 60 and the second 30? Don't forget to go and follow us on social media, guys. We're putting a lot more stuff up, statistics, facts. Don't forget, you don't want to miss out on those. And we're going to have some competition giveaways, so the only place you'll be able to find those is going to be on our Twitter and our Facebook, so go and follow us on those ones, guys. But thanks so much for watching. Fantastic to go into the international break with a win, big for confidence, guys, and I hope you are enjoying it at the minute. Anything you want to see in terms of content or anything you want to see over the international break, let me know, guys. I'm going to try and add it in. If it's a good suggestion, we'll try and make it happen. But I think that's all for me, guys. Have a great international break. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Keep right on.